device. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation, the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. You know the vibe. Sunday. How you guys doing out there? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday fun day. As for me, I am chillaxed. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation, the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. You know the vibe. Or lock the door. Somebody told me just recently, I forgot to say lock the door. Shout out to the Comedy Girl. I see you in there. What's going on? Yeah, I come to talk to you guys for a momentary. Give me a moment. Let me take care of something right quick. Okay, I am back. I am back. Sometimes I do these things on the spur of a moment without a moment's notice, and I really don't know where I'll be going. But welcome to the mailroom, where you can come in and take a look at your mind. This is not a glamorization nor a glorification. This is an education. You can go anywhere in the world and get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. And the truth, I just plan on giving it to you. No matter how hurtful or harmful, well, not harmful. Sometimes the truth do hurt and people don't want to hear it, but it's my obligation to give it. A lie has speed, but the truth has endurance. And we got to always keep that. Cold Cut, I see you. What's up with my Milwaukee brother? What's going on with you? Mike King, Mike, what's happening? What's going on with you guys? So let me get to it. Don moves and keyways can rise up from anything. And I don't know if they really know that, but you can rise up from anything. You can completely recreate yourself. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is permanent. You're not stuck. You have choices. You always have choices. Don't think you don't never have choices. You can always think new thoughts, new ideas, new inventions, new ways of getting things done. You're not limited in that capacity or that space. You can create new habits. All that really matters is that you can decide today and never look back. Today. As far as what we call is the gang banging or gang membership, because let's be honest with ourselves, none of it has really contributed to the overall society of our culture. None of it has really gave us anything that we could build upon. It hasn't been purpose driven. None of it is purpose driven. So I've been working with a brother from the south side of Compton, South Park, South Side, which you guys refer to. His name's Casper, and then also Gershie, Montana. We've been working together on a project called Against All Odds. And Against All Odds it's a Compton docu-series that had many, many integral parts. We have Pyrus, we have Bloods, we have women, we have people they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we also we don't want to get into the space of how some people kind of like say that they're working to better the city, but all the time there's a motive or a hidden agenda attached to whatever they're doing. And we're not going to get into all that. We're not going to even concern ourselves with those individuals because I'm also working on, let me see, this thing we call cripping. I'm working on that. I'm gonna put it together. This thing we call cripping. Legends, writers, hand gods, and those who walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm gonna give it to you guys the best way based on my knowledge and my understanding and the things I witnessed, the things I saw, and put it into a way a 3-year-old would understand it. It's not going to be complicated, but it is going to be thorough. It's going to be well thought out, and I'm going to take it from all the way from the beginning till we are, well, not necessarily to where we are present, because I really don't understand this present mind space, because it has morphed and changed. And I'm just going to give you the evolution of it, the growth of it, and where and how it landed to where we are today. I'm going to do that. I know you guys been seeing everything that's been going on the internet with Crip Mac and this Lily Cakes, and uh, then you got other people that's weighing in on the stuff that not really that has no really. I guess it just likes and shares and clout chasing, as they say. Uh, but I heard Crip Mac get on and he explained his position on it, and she explained her. But I'm gonna say this to it: when I first made connected with Crip Mac, and this is what I saw. This is not what I know or what I think. I mean, this is what I know and what I saw when I witnessed. This ain't no emotional evaluation or some opinion. This is actually what I saw with Crip Mac. And I'm gonna go through some other things as well. Crip Mac is a very, very genuine person. And although everybody, we all have flaws, and sometimes some of the things he says are offensive to others. But keep in mind that Crip Mac is really a special individual. He has a lot of talent. Crip Mac was making $20,000 to $30,000 a month on YouTube. With that type of money being made, there's a lot of individuals that want a part of that, or want to be partaking in that, and want to be in the circle of that. So what happens a lot of times, you get a lot of people that's really not good for you or good to you. And when I first met Lily Cake, she was just the driver for Crip Mac, and there was no romantic connection there, or he never called her his girl or any of that. And she would drive and take him to appointments because he had Lupe, he had this Lily Cakes, and occasionally he would call the homegirl really low. No type of sexual or man and wife or man and woman type of relationship there whatsoever. So I guess over the time span, there's some other because when you start dealing with Adam 22, as you see that Adam 22 has no problem with shelling out his wife for $1 or two. So if he don't have no problems with that, then he's not gonna have no problems trying to get you to also buy into that idea. So I think that he's kind of sold that idea to the Mac, and the Mac, being who he is, he like big, beautiful sitches and big booty sitches and all this stuff. He liked the idea. So I think this is where Lily Cakes might have played a part. Actually, I've seen the film, so I'm not gonna cap there. I've seen it, and from what I take from it, I think it was just a money making opportunity. As time progressed, that money opportunity became bigger and better. So when you cut somebody, shout out to Stan, see you in there, Stan the man. When you're cut off from those opportunities, a lot of times you don't know how to act in that space, or you feel like somebody owe you something or anything. So when Crip Mac went in for the Billy Western, I was there days before that happened with him. And I just saw her. Matter of fact, she ran to the store when I was there. Me and the homie Bright Dog, we was there, and Lily Cakes was running back and forth to the store for the Mac. So what I'm saying is that don't always take what's always said on the internet as fact or true, or the value of it has it's not as valuable as they make it out, or she's making it out to be. Understand it, but a lot of it is coming from emotion, and she's upset, because now, can you imagine having somebody around you making that type of money, and now they take it away? It's like they take the toy back, and you can't play with it no more. So that's kind of hurtful to those individuals. I get what is going on. Shout out to what's up, Malik T. Brownsville in the house. Yeah, all my Brownsville people out there in New York. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for like, subscribe, and follow. Like I say, this is welcome to the mailroom, where you come in and take a look at your mind, and that's what we do over here. We take a look at your mind, and that's not only my mind, your mind, or this guy or her mind. Everybody should be able to partake in that. These things we call, like I say, I'm gonna look into the things we call cripping. From the project, the Docu-Series, which was King Casper and Gertrude Montana. Cynthia Nunn was a part of it. I think Gangster was a part of it. Some other Damus was a part of it, and a lot of people have their input on it, and it's going to be a really good thing. Uh, so you guys should look forward to that. And I just want to, I actually got Gertz and Casper sit down and they talked about what they're doing as far as and how important this is for the community, because the community that we live in over there, I know I'm hopping around a little bit, but this is sometimes that's what happens. If we got to go back over and cover something, that's what we got to do for people that just maybe just be joining to fully understand. AGI Supreme, what's happening? Fully understand what's going on. So I think it's going to be important that I give out a good portion of the history, lay out the history, because let me say this: before there was anything such thing as a Damu or Kiwi, or there was a Crip or Paru, there was what we call, when I grew up, the Oaks Park Boys. There was in Fruitown, there was the Order Street Boys. In Piru Street, there was the Piru Street Boys. And there was the Block Boys. None of them had Piru behind their name. None of them. Only ones had Piru name was Piru Street, because they actually started, the Piru Street Boys started on Piru. But as far as Piru being an individual or a bunch of individuals or something, a subset from the original street, that's something totally different. That came later on. But what I'm telling you guys, before anybody recognized yourself as being blue or red, there was such thing as the Order Street Boys, there's Oaks Park Boys, there's the Mona Park Boys, Carver Park, so on and so forth. Before any of this stuff was ever associated with it, without Crip being associated with it, or the name Piru. Again, the only Pirus was the Piru Street Boys, and everybody had their own reasoning for aligning themselves the way they did, because the Crips actually was an LA based gang, and they was moving towards Compton. And Compton has always been a place where it stood alone, and it held its own, and it defended itself against any outsiders. That's just what it is. And that's going to be a part of when I get into the things we call Crip legends, riders, and hand gods, and those who walk the walk and those who talk the talk. That's going to be a part of that. As anything else, I've been seeing, like, man, how weird is that you saw these two hip hop guys supposed to be brothers, right? They're on the internet, they kissing. I think Crip Mac weighed in. A lot of people weighed in on that, but again, you got to be careful. It's just, to me, it's just some more people that's cloud chasing. It was Oaks Park Businessman, but boys came from that too. It was both. It was both. The older guys were the Oak Park Businessman, and the younger guys were the Oaks Park Boys. Let me clear that for you, Asiatic Supreme. Yeah, the Oaks Park Businessman came first, because they saw themselves as businessmen, and due to the extortion game and some of the other stuff they was involved in at that time. With Donald Duck, Norwood, Chester Norwood, Robert Thomas, Gary Miller, Darnell Miles, Boo Hodges, and Tommy, and just a host of other, like a name, Roy Scott, Nathaniel Fletcher, Snake, Curtis Patrick. So it was a lot of people involved in that. But anyway, don't want to get too male. We'll leave it up to Salute. Been waiting on you to do something like this. Use those interview skills and intellectual approach. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and try to put it in a way, in a perspective that where everybody can be able to understand it, and at the same time respect it. See, because my purpose, I have a meaning and a purpose in life, right? But I'm not. My purpose is not to clout chase or anything like that. I just like telling the history. I just like giving the history. I like giving history so much. I don't get paid for this. As of recently, I don't know what happened. Something happened with YouTube where they decided they didn't no longer want to mess with me like that. So I guess maybe I'm just saying being too factual or too real or whatever. And I don't get into internet beef. I'm not arguing with anybody. And if anybody argue with me, I'm just gonna sit there and look at them. That's what I'm gonna do because I know that anytime a person that's supposedly be a street person and then they want to get into the internet and want to argue with you, that's a change of the dynamics and the demographics of which they're used to. So I know I can do it, but what 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 purpose and what outcome? I'm trying to be at my level best at all times, building the airplane while I fly it. So I'm not too overly concerned with dollars and cents. I have a real nice income that I don't have to, be risking myself for certain things like I do see through others. Now, there's just sometimes things that intrigue me that I think that needs to be said. Of course it is. I just, because sometimes it's so fascinating doing this stuff. You be seeing people, you be like, wow. And it'd be funny and everything. But yeah, but getting back to it, so I'm gonna go from the baddest, from two great moments in time where when the baddest and the Santana blocks, those are two great moments in time. And when I break it down and explain it to you guys, either you accept it or you won't. But you can't change the fact those who there were there and those who weren't. It's just facts. Nothing you can do about that. So let me see. Asiatic, building the airplane while you fly. Good stuff. Yes. What's going on, Asiatic? I haven't seen you in quite some time. And and that's why you're appreciated by many. Yeah, man, because, like I'm saying, it's just welcome to the mailroom where you can come in and take a look at your mind. And this is not a glamorization or glorification. It's an education. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. A lie has speed, but the truth has endurance. And what the truth is always catching up to the lie and taking his clothing back, unclothing the lie and taking his clothing back. That way you can see the lie be exposed, the lie be naked out there standing alone. But I understand a lie really is a reflection of entertainment. A lie has a entertainment component attached to it, and people are very entertained by lies. I don't know what it is about it. I guess it make them feel good to hear it, or it's funny to them. Maybe that's what it is. Because they have a great time, regardless. And then you have these other people, these paperwork people that be all on the internet. That some of them people is probably some of the biggest snitches around. Always running around trying to find people's paperwork or something, or coming up with it, or making up their own paperwork. This is what I do know. If it don't have a clerk stamp, or it doesn't have a docket, it doesn't have a docket calendar, or nothing that's attached to it, or it just, I don't know where they come up with that. I don't know who would take the time out to go somewhere. Well, it's the internet, so anything is possible. Anything is plausible. So you never know how desperate one is to put some lies out there in order to increase his, or what he believe increasing his value, I guess. Based on numbers and internet stuff. I'm doing good, Jonathan. How are you doing? West Piru gang. Yeah, so me and E, we talk about de-escalation. We talk about, how do we come to the table as men and set aside years of, because get think about it. There's nothing I can do to bring Turtle back. There's nothing the Pirus can do to bring Tam back. There's nothing nobody can do to bring Cadillac Bob back from the Hoovers. And I'm just using these people as an example. And the person that Robert Ballou and so on and so forth, or Buddha, and all these different Tookie, you know, Raymond, Mac Thomas. There's nothing we can do to bring none of those individuals back. Nothing. But yet we find it as Those are triggers. Those things can be triggers in our community. And it's such triggers that we become mad and we become angered and we become aggressive and we ready to take somebody else's life. When most of the guys that saying these guys' name never even knew them. So yeah, so I don't want to talk too much about what I'm gonna do as far as the this thing we call cripping legends, riders, hood, hand gods, and those who walk the walk and those who talk the talk. I don't want to reveal too much about that, but it's gonna be interesting. The least I can say, it's gonna be interesting, and you guys gonna hear some names that you probably even never heard of, you know. And those individuals are living really well and comfortable and don't want to have nothing to do with none of this stuff. And I can't really blame them. Not at all. I think that they did what they did and they moved on. You know, don't have to be in lockstep with everybody else on this stuff. Just the way we see it. You know, I knew Big Rebo and Mac and Keely Welch and all these different people. Keely called me the other night. You know, that's Barefoot Keely Welch, preacher man, founder of 165 Block, and not one of the founders, but maybe the founder. So yeah, there's things to understand about him and Volcano and Heron and an assortment of people, Mac Washington and all these different people, Gregory Cross, Pet Bull, Ferry. Yeah, I did say Ferry. Yeah, so there's so much to understand. And then there's understand about, you know, all the guys that made it okay for a lot of guys to come in when they start into the institution. You got those guys, you know, the ants and the sumas and the dinosaurs and so many others. So many. And we can't rockheads and bams, you know, definitely. But anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I know it's Sunday. Black Warrior Spirit, what's happening? I want to take up too much of your time. I just want to get that out. So I will be putting out the conversation that me, myself, and Gertie and Casper had from the South. I did a video with them. But also I want to tell you guys that just yesterday, Potato Head Paul called me. Yeah, I was surprised. We talked for a good while, and yeah, and parts of the conversation I'll be sharing with you guys. Just give me a little time to put it in perspective and take it all in. But anyway, I'm still vibing on the fact that he called me and he was you know, he was excited. I could hear the excitement in his voice, and he was like big homie, and you know, it was just like he was right there. You know, right there talking to me like old times. We having to come because he grew up with me. He lived right down the street. I knew his father, his mother, his sister, his uncles. I remember his dad, Big Bonnie, on Super Swole. Like you saw Big Bonnie and you saw Jamil, you would have thought they was one and the same people. Yeah. And all his uncles and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of his people were from the Watts area and stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna get a chance to go down there to talk about that, and we'll talk about the Tracy Batts and also the guy from the South, even um, Keefy D's nephew. Yeah, talk about him. We'll talk about even the guy that started Southside, which is Gangsta Ben. We'll talk about all that. But anyway, until then, I'm Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman, and I should come in and take a look at your mind once again, where there's not a glamorization or glorification, it's an education. So you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll be putting all this stuff together in the days to come, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about everything, top to bottom. So you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman, go ahead and lock the door, because we are gone.